She should have known it would be the grocer, who had given her sweets as she shopped with her parents, that would have banged on her door as the sun rose. She should have known it would be the farmer, who smiled and waved at her when she ran laughing through a field, that would have brought the torch. She should have known it would be the butcher's wife, whose broken leg she had set, who would have dragged her from her home. She should have known. On and on the list grew, as everyone she had ever known bound her hands and burned her house to the ground. The priests reciting prayer, the townsfolk chanting, "Witch," as she was dragged across the ground, before finding her feet, her legs stinging with blood. The trial was short and full of nonsense, of crops failed, of devils conjured, marriages broken, and unnaturally flame-red hair. That last at least she was guilty of. It had brightened from brown over the years until it was as red as the sunrise, bleeding across the new sky, a phenomenon she could not explain. Not to them. Not a word of hers was heard as she pleaded, begged and bargained, as she spoke of lives saved with care and herbs, as the brand was pressed into her skin. Witch! I had been made especially for her, before she was dragged once more out of a building, this time towards a pyre built towards the still rising sun. Piles of wood nailed to one another splintered and tore at her skin as her arms dragged behind her around that beam. A torch held high to cheers and sneers. Witch! The flames began to dance around her ankles. Her own element turned against her, a symbol of protection, power and life, used to burn her alive. As her feet blistered, all words of pleading and mercy ran silent into sobs of fear and pain. The village watched, gleeful, and as the flames rose and clothes caught fire, witch! She was not a witch. If she were, she would have stolen the water from the earth, the trees, and poured it into the clouds above, opening the sky to her defence. She screamed to that sky, to the logs at her feet, at the wind and the air, to the water that would not save her now, to the blaze that was killing her. It heard and went cold, still burning the flesh from her bones, emitting the smoke that choked her. But she felt nothing. Fire, her protection and power once more. Fire bore her into this world, and it would take her from it, and it would bring her back once more. Tomorrow, a soul would be born with ashen hair. Ash would turn to flame, and she would remember. She would not forgive, and she would not forget. But tomorrow, she would be somewhere else, and she would be a healer once again.